Michele Morano, Boy Eats World. In the spring, it takes a long time to walk down the street, past the budding maple trees and bare, scaly-barked sycamores that line our side of the block. By early summer, leaves will scrape against our apartment windows, their branches entwining above the middle of the street. But in spring, the sun is barely filtered, the world painfully bright. The sidewalk crawls with ants and the occasional earthworm, marooned after last night's rain. A squirrel stands on hind legs, craning its neck toward us and chattering. We're not getting anywhere. Not that we have to get anywhere, but the plan was to walk to the park, to swing and climb and drive the wooden fire engine, to run through the grass, because I think children should run through grass every single day if they can. Still, I'm adaptable. I could spend the next hour on this block examining the beetle, heading up a wrought iron fence, loading our pockets with wet stones, but the slower we move, the more dangerous the street becomes. Andrew is almost 2 years old. Everything in this enormous world exists for him alone. He lumbers toward the brazen squirrel, arms outstretched. He pinches the beetle and carries it, tiny legs kicking toward his lips. He waits until I glance away at a large dog dragging its owner toward us and pops a stone into his mouth. No, honey, no, I say, trying to remember how to save a choking toddler. When the dog approaches, Andrew squirms away from me and greets him, tongue to tongue. So I hurry him along. Not in the mouth, crazy man, is my constant refrain. But so much captivates him. Around the corner on Glenwood Avenue, gardens line the narrow parkways between the sidewalk and the street. Here are clumps of prairie weeds, flowering hostas, tiny new impatiens. Andrew trudges, palm open, slapping the plants, and when a leaf or a flower sticks to his finger, he licks it off. No, I say, spit, because there are poisons too along a city street. Jimson weed, rhododendrons, jack-in-the-pulpits, pokeweed, all potentially toxic to a 2-year-old. Not to mention unsanitary, since these curbside gardens are where dogs pee. Throughout the spring and into the summer, we walk to the park, and every chance Andrew gets, he eats. If we run into a friend, if I start to chat and take my eyes off him for a few moments, I find bits of mulch around his mouth, hear him sucking on dandelion stems. Once, a small hunk of desiccated poop, so old it's almost white, brushes his moist lips before I swat it away.
So have there been any other Andrew adventures? Does he eat anything since you wrote this?
He doesn't eat, he eats everything. We went to a birthday party yesterday, and at one point another mother came over and said, he's eating the glitter off the floor. And I had kind of seen him, and it seemed to me that he put it in his mouth and then spit and then tried it again, and I thought, well, trial and error, but she was clearly alarmed.
It sounds like a fabulous thing to try, though. Like
Yeah,
glitter.
yeah, just
like a performance art.
They were kind of big pieces, so he was testing it out. I grew up in upstate New York, and in a town, but with lots of woods around. You know, they're no longer there now. But I feel like as a kid, I did have the experience of being able to sort of run around and get away from the noise of cars a little bit. And so I feel a little conflicted about bringing my son up as a city boy. You know, on the one hand, I love it, and he's exposed to so much, and I want that. But on the other hand, it is strange not to have places where he can sort of explore in a really unfettered way. So I do watch him a lot, and I try to, you know, get him excited about things in a way that doesn't convey my own anxieties about where we live and the kind of limited nature of it. But it's interesting because we took him on vacation this past summer, and, you know, went to this lake, stayed in a cabin for a couple of days, and I was terribly excited about, you know, everything he was going to get to see, all the stars in the sky and the fire we were building, and he was, you know, just not that into it. And I don't know if that's, you know, the stage he's at, or if it's genetics, or if it's he's already a city kid, and he kept asking for his playground. So, yeah.
But there is a tension in the piece between kind of your admiration versus your bewilderment of what he's doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I get it. I get what he's doing, and I just don't want him to get hurt. But mostly, I feel like, good for you. You know, don't disobey me to some degree. It's not convenient, but it's, you know, it's what kids are meant to do, I think.